Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today, and probably the first Microsoft video in a long time. Now Microsoft, a tremendous company, great business, great revenue streams, great diversification actually, and of course, incredible management. Now, yes, we know that the stock is down around 10% since last month. We had some price target changes, some macro news, etc. We're going to talk about all of that later in this video, but I want to focus more on the most recent news, new acquisitions, and then new investments, especially those with OpenAI and ChatGPT, and what that might mean for Microsoft. Now, you know, Microsoft has its own search engine, Bing. Not many people use it, we know, but hypothetically, if they would use ChatGPT or OpenAI's technology to use it in their own search, well, that could change the game. And I think I predicted that last year. Well, last year, not so long ago. So there was this tweet here that MKM Partners predicts AI wars escalating as Google and Microsoft try to acquire OpenAI. To that, I retweeted Microsoft will come out with a Google search competitor, not like Bing, if they acquire OpenAI. And that will change the game completely. And of course, you guessed it, we've got some news with regards to that as well. So we're going to cover all of that in this video. But first, let's try and look at Microsoft as the business right now. Revenue in the trailing 12 months have been increasing. It's now at $203 billion. Free cash flow, $63.3 billion. Return on equity, over 40%. All great. Gross profit margin, 68%. Then PE to growth, very nice as well, has come down, which is fine. 1.76 in the next 12 months. And then down here, you can see here shares outstanding. As you can see, it has been coming down. So not only is the company growing, but it is acquiring and buying more of its shares, which obviously increases your value. So of course, I don't have to tell you that Microsoft, if it's in your portfolio, it's probably one of the best companies to own in a portfolio, and it's probably going to be one of the best ones for years and years to come. It's also paying out a little dividends, so that's nice as well. Now, before we go and jump into the crucial part of this video, if you want to support me and this channel, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Would really appreciate that. All right, going back to the stuff here. So Microsoft in talks to invest $10 billion in ChatGPT. Well, the owner, so OpenAI. So apparently, according to people familiar with the matter, the complicated deal would see Microsoft get 75% of OpenAI's profit until the investment is recouped, and then owning 49%. It is unclear if the deal has been finalized though. Now, my guess is that, well, they're giving $10 billion to OpenAI and, well, basically spend it on Microsoft Azure. Then we had the announcement that Microsoft is going to acquire a company called Fungible to accelerate data center innovation. We don't know for how much, but basically Fungible is a provider of composable infrastructure aimed at accelerating networking and storage performance in data centers with high efficiency, low power data processing units. Now, of course, this is a nice little acquisition, but the big question about the bigger acquisition is obviously Activision. Right now, talks are still ongoing. Let's see what happens. My guess is if it's not cancelled right now, it probably goes through. And now next up we have here actually the crème de la crème, and well, it's the cherry on top of the cake of what we mentioned before with the $10 billion investment. So apparently Microsoft and OpenAI are working on ChatGPT powered Bing in challenge to Google. Now, of course, we talked a little bit about that a bit before, but here's a bit more information, and then I'll add some with regards to email, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. So Microsoft plans to incorporate OpenAI's GPT software into the Bing search engine. Can you give some bullet points of what the user experience could be like? It's possible that incorporating OpenAI's GPT technology into Bing could enhance the search experience in a number of ways, including providing more relevant and accurate search results. GPT, Generative Pre-training Transformer, is a machine learning model that has been trained on a large dataset and can generate human-like text. This could potentially allow Bing to better understand the context and intent of a user search query and provide more relevant and accurate results. Then point number 2, offering natural language search, GPT has the ability to understand and respond to human language in a natural way, which means probably less links and more direct results, as we've seen with ChatGPT. And if you compare it to Google, when you search something, you're bombarded with links because obviously that's how they make money. Now, another thing I want to add here is the fact that, Microsoft looks to add OpenAI AI to Word, email, etc. So Microsoft has discussed incorporating OpenAI's artificial intelligence in Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and other apps so customers can automatically generate text using simple prompts. For more than a year, Microsoft engineers and researchers have worked to create personalized AI tools for composing emails and documents by applying OpenAI's machine learning models to customers' private data. Engineers are developing methods to train these models on the customer data without it leaking to other customers or falling into the hands of bad actors. Now, to add on top of that, let's say they do come out with a Google search competitor thanks to ChatGPT. Not only is this going to increase the revenues and the visits that Bing gets, or the size of Bing gets, but it's also probably going to increase the volume for Azure. Because where do you think all that information will be stored? Where do you think all that data will be? Of course, on Microsoft Azure. And of course, maybe those companies or extra companies could use the application of ChatGPT to be used for their websites or for their companies, but they have to go through Microsoft Azure. So, win-win here, if that happens, obviously. Now, before we look at the graph and end this video, we had a price target lowering from Piper Sandler from $265 to $247, but it keeps an overweight rating on the shares. So it says here that 2023 marks the beginning of a mid-cycle moderation period for the estimated $385 billion cloud industry, where growth could fall below 20% after a decade of hyper-growth. The analyst is proactively lowering estimates on 18 stocks on recessionary headwinds, but also believes valuation factors in a high degree of disruption. Now, of course, we've seen this also with AWS. It's nothing new that cloud growth is slowing down a little bit, but it's still growing, right? It's still growing, even if it's closer to 20%. Still nice growth, and then it will just reaccelerate if we're coming out of that, let's say, high and difficult macroeconomic environment. All right, so now let's end it up with looking at the graph. Right now, as you can see, because of that price target lowering, we can see here a little gap. Eventually it will get filled because we're going to go on our way up. I don't know when, but it will happen. So we have that gap that needs to get filled. Right now here, it's a bit no man's land, right? Nowhere near the 20 or 50-day moving average. This is again on a weekly chart. When you look at the RSI, we're at 40. When you look at the MACD, it has just turned red, so bearish. Let's see what happens today. If it's a green day, again, it's a big week for the market. Jerome Powell speaks today on Tuesday. Then we have the CPI report later on Thursday. So that could form either a nice little green candle for this week or a more reddish one. So to conclude, regardless of what happens in the short term with maybe a weaker cloud industry, Microsoft is moving into the right direction. Again, it's a tremendous company. And if, let's say, the whole ChatGPT game plan works out, it's going to be huge. Not just because of the search possibilities, but because it will boost the cloud business, the Azure business for them. It's something that not a lot of people are talking about. Obviously, a lot of it is speculative right now, but things can move extremely fast. Of course, right now there's no comparing, right? There are billions and billions and billions of people that are using Google search. Maybe a billion or two are using Bing. Not that much. But if suddenly you come out with a revolutionary tech, which is ChatGPT, why wouldn't the scales change? I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Yahoo was a very, very dominant player around the world. Not anymore. So things can change extremely fast right now, especially with technology and especially with artificial intelligence. That's not to say that Google can't come out with their own ChatGPT type of model. Maybe they can. I mean, Lambda has been talked about for a while. Let's see what happens there. Obviously, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. I think this is an exciting time for the industry. Do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.